Hello everyone. My name is Jasprit Kaur. Today I am talking about the case study of the good heart of our people. This case study comes from the instead and focuses on how organization make ethical and data-driven decision when selecting social innovation project to found. And my main goal is that show how operational models like the weight scoring model and the analytic hierarchies process can help make fair and transparent decision even when human emotions are involved. In the introduction, I'm talking about the case background. Like in this situation, we had a select one winner among eight social innovation competing for a major awards, and the finalists came from different fields like education, health, environment, and agriculture, all doing the meaningful work. The evaluation was based on both mission related criteria such as like contribution, mission fit, and financial need, and the operational criteria like sustainability and feasibility. To make the process transparent and unbiased, we use a two type of decision making model. The weight scoring model, and after analyze Constant B, an agriculture scientist, emerged as a top candidate. In the next slide, I am talking about the problem identification and scope. Now I'm identify the problem. The main challenging was choosing the most diverse constant among equally inspiring candidate. We had to find a balance between emotional judgment, such as compassion for their causes, and analytical fairness, which ensure the prize goes to project with the highest potential impact. This required a multi-criteria decision-making framework to minimize biases and make the process as transparent as possible. Um, However, there were still difficulties like limited data, human biases, and public security, and such as each judge had to act not just a evaluator but the steward of public trust, ensuring that fairness was both practical and seen. Next slide, I will talking about the reason for discussion, decision complexity. Starting from the decision making process was complex for several reasons. Firstly, I'm talking about the constants represent very difficult type of social initiatives. For example, one focus on the environmental sustainability, and another focus on the health, and another one focus on the education for the children. Comparing them directly was like comparing apples to oranges. And the secondly, there was a challenge of balancing moral and practical diminishes, and the meaning we had to consider not just who had the most emotional apparel, but who could deliver the most measurable and sustainable result. And the last final is that because this was a public panthropic decision, so fairness and legitimacy were an essential important. Any hint of the favoritism could damage the credibility of the organization, so we needed the systematic and transparent approach. In the next slide, there is an ethical and bias consideration. Let's talk about the ethical and bias. We all know that human decisions are rarely free from bias. In this case, common biases including sympathy biases, where judges must favor a emotionally moving story, relatively biases, comparing constants against each other instead of against objective standards, and privileges biases, whether better presented constants might seem more capable. And to reduce this effect, I applied two main ethically framework, altruism, which focus on the greatest good for the greatest number of people, and the deontologies, which emphasize duty bias fairness, meaning we must act according to the principle justice equality, not emotionally alone. Balancing these help ensure that the final choice represented both comparison and fairnesses. Um, Moving to the next slide, qualitative analysis. On the qualitative analysis, I focused on the understanding each project's story, goals, and social values. The complexity that came from the diverse for initiatives. Some were community based, other are technology driven, and the judges need to align emotionally, ethically, and analytically perspectives. The biggest take away from this part was fairness and legitimacy matter as much as final result. Since the outcome is that we can publicity visible, even good decision, and it seems biased or unclear. In the next slide, I will talk about the uh, quantitative analysis. We used a two-structure model, weight scoring model, and the analytic hierarchy process. In the weight scoring model, this model assigned weight to each criteria. For example, like 30% of mission contribution, 20% for sustainability, 25% for financial need, and so on. Each constant was scored against these criteria, and total score determinant ranks. In the analytical heritage process, we added the check it compared criteria pairwise to ensure the judgment were logically constant. Both models identify the same top performance, and the constant B, the agriculture scientist, the alignment confirmed that our decision was objective, constant, and the transparent. In the next slide, I will talk about the recommendation and expected outcome. The selected winner, Constant B, developed a frame education app which teach sustainable agriculture practices to rural farmers who have a less knowledge about the apps or about the farmer. This is initiative strongly aligned with the UN Sustainable Development Goals, especially those related to zero hunger, quality education, and sustainable agriculture. Our recommendation was to focus implementation on scalability by expanding the app to more regions and training to ensure farmer can use the effectively, and the impact tracking to measure long-term benefits like future improvement. We suggest three key steps. Firstly, make the scoring system even more transparent. Second, increase diversity among constants. And third, integrate AI ethically to support fair evaluation. And as a result, the approach demonstrates the structures and ethically decision making, forester, farmer, and public trust. In the next slide, I will talk about the professional modern summary. In the summary from the professional memo, the total award amount was 100,000 allocated, like 30% for app localizing, localizing and translations, and 20% of frustrators development, 15% for marketing, 10% for monitoring and evaluation, and 5% for training and support. Within 6 months, the key performance indicates the like reaching 20,000 farmers, achieving 70% completion rate, building 25 partnerships, improving crop yield by 5%, and reaching 25% financial self-sustainability. This plan shows how well-structured finding can create a measurable long-term impact. And in conclusion, this case demonstrates how operation management tools like WSM and AHP can guide ethically transparent decision making pathography. And in the end of the good heart of our people is not just about comparison, but about making disciplined, well response choice that do most good for society. Thank you for the listening.